Need help? Is marketing driving you crazy? Calling all authors, Joy on Paper Live has an answer for you. Award-winning author and marketing expert Carolyn Howard-Johnson shares her insights into marketing with Joy on Paper Live. She thinks out of the box. Marketing strategy is her middle name. Need help navigating the Amazon? It's a beautiful place, but you need help to navigate. Don't let your book sink. Learn from the Frugal Book Promoter. Carolyn Howard-Johnson thinks about how to save money and get great results. Joy on Paper Live is proud to present the Frugal Book Promoters, episode number 1, the Amazon Buy Page. Today, we have a very special report from a very special person, and it is Carolyn Howard-Johnson, and she's joining us on Joy on Paper Live to bring all the information that you need about marketing and how to do it frugally. And you can find her at howtodoitfrugally.com. And I am so happy to welcome you to the program, Carolyn. It's just always wonderful to talk to you. What you're going to talk about today?
Okay. Last time we talked, it was a celebration because it was our very first time together.
Yeah.
About reviews. And I got so much reaction from that I think we started off on the right track. I thought we would continue a little bit about review related stuff. And of course, that would include Amazon.
The Amazon.
Right. There's your shot of Amazon. Yeah.
Everybody has their books there, but I have told people over and over, your book is just going to be floating around there unless you get out there and start marketing. And so many authors don't know anything at all about marketing.
It's so powerful. Did you know that 60% of the world's books are sold on Amazon?
Yeah.
Our buy page is invaluable to us.
We're going to talk a lot about reviews. In the next segment, we'll do a longer version of reviews. But you know why I started here with buy pages? I asked an author last week after we talked about it, I said, well, what's your buy page like? And she didn't know. She didn't understand what a buy page was. I said, it's the page where things are up. And she, of course, she's with a publisher, not a major publisher, but the publisher puts this up. She has not paid attention to it. And I said to her, do you realize that I gave you a blurb for your book and my blurb isn't there? And other people have given you. She doesn't know how to do it. She doesn't know anything about it. So I thought, let's start with explaining what in the heck is a buy page.
Buy page is an interesting term because other people use different terms. But I think buy page, if people heard it more often described with those words, they would get the idea better of what the good it can do us.
This author said, oh, you mean that stuff they put up there? I said, yeah, that stuff is very important.
Websites are nice, but it's that buy page that we go to when we actually buy a book. And it's the buy page that serious buyers end up on anyway, or they're standing in front of a bookshelf in a bookstore. That's where the action is. We're going to talk today about your buy page essentials, or at least a first little batch of your buy page essentials. And then we might go on to more in the next segment, make you come back to see us. How does that sound? How does that sound, PatZi?
I love it.
So your buy page essentials, of course, there's a section in it where you can, if you're self-published, you can add your own. If you aren't, and this is one reason people don't know what it is, if you're traditionally published, you're probably trusting your publisher to do it, but they may not have done it. So everybody, traditionally published or self-published, needs to jump onto their buy page and check it out. And they start with right near the top, your bio, synopsis. These are all kind of background. Of course, the fantastic reviews that you've been getting. Um, but the very top that the publisher should be doing for you includes even an about the author. Has your publisher asked you to write anything about the author? Did they do it for you? So our buy page starts with the essentials that the publisher is supposed to do for us and that we, if we're self-published, we have to do for ourselves. That would be bio, synopsis, and about the author section. There's a place to put your favorite review, or maybe even a list of your favorite blurbs, or both. It gives you a lot of space. And as an author, the way you're going to do that, if you don't have a traditional publisher, is to go to your Author Central. And if you don't know what Author Central is, it's just authorcentral.com. You'll find it one way or the other through Google or directly through Amazon. And you should know about that service that they provide. You can even through that service find somebody to talk to by phone or by chat. And they're good little worker elves. They're great people. Treat them well and get to know them. Let them help you.
Let's take a step back. This author page, what is it exactly for those who don't understand it?
If you don't see a biography, if you don't see a synopsis of your book, if you don't see all those things, then it hasn't been done.
So this is from Author Central. That's a separate from Amazon.
No, it's part of Amazon.
Okay, but you can go to them and talk to them actually.
Author Central is what they give to self-published authors to stay in control of the books published by and with Amazon. But it's accessible to all authors who have a book posted on Amazon. If your book is posted on Amazon and you're self-published, you can fix all of this by going to your Author Central. If you're traditionally published, then you will have to get to your publisher and nudge them to do it. You lost control of some of your life when you pass it over to a traditional publisher. That's not a bad thing to say. It's wonderful that they do it for us, but sometimes they're not good with certain things. You're going to keep your eye on it, and you're going to occasionally, as you needed, try to get your bio updated. As your platform grows and gets fancier and more credible and more impressive, then you want your bio to reflect that, the one on your buy page. And in a minute, we'll talk about another place to put a bio, but we're going to finish with this first. Having a buy page actually qualifies you to have an author's profile page. What is an author's profile page? Well, if you've ever reviewed a book, and you should have, if you've reviewed somebody else's book, if you have an author's profile page, your name on that review will be linked to your author's profile page. So it's another way to connect. And when you do that, if you can't find it, then that's a good reason for you to contact your worker elves at Amazon and let them help you find it, because you're in charge of that too.
Oh boy, authors have so much to do.
Exactly. And if you're not familiar with some of this stuff, it's a step-by-step process. Don't let the fact that you don't know it all discourage you. Nobody knows it all to begin with. We're on our own. We're on our own no matter how we're published. Let's face it. You do what you need to do, and little by little. But that author's page, I'm going to give you the link to my author's page. And I bet PatZi will type it in somewhere for us by the end. You go to, you know what bit.ly is, bit.ly. And then Carolyn's, there's a capital C in that. Amazon, AMZN, profile, capital P. When you're searching for books, you can sometimes just type in an author's name and their books come up, and we've all probably done that. You can probably find that author's page from all of the authors that you read and know and love by going there and then going to their author page. we're in charge of our authors page, and we want to build that too. We want our bio on there. It gives us a chance to feed our blog to it. It gives us, we don't have to do it all at once, but we can. It gives us a chance to feed our Twitter stream or our Facebook stream to it. You don't have to, but you can. You put all of your books. If you've got a series, you put all of your books on that page. Or for that matter, all. I'm a poet and a fiction writer and have the series for writers, and they're all on that page.
In this author bio, what things should you put? How much should you put? And should it be in the first person? I've seen
Oh,
some. I've seen
yes.
some in the third person.
Yes. Good question, PatZi. The by page and your author's page, and they're connected. They're Amazon makes sure that they're all connected so they have access to them all too. So you want to make sure that you're connecting with your readers. So yes, first person, let your voice shine through. Let them know what you've done. Let them know about your awards. Let them know a little bit about maybe your philosophy for why you do what you do. There's a specific limit, but it lets you know real quickly. If you go over the limit, it will come back and tell you you're over 1,000 words. So there you go.
And a lot of people like to put the name of their dog.
Yeah. Well, okay. Okay. Then you should, if you've already got your book published, if it's already up there, it's not too late. It's just not too late to upgrade your buy page. So we're not going to get discouraged here, okay? It's just that you've neglected it too long already, or you didn't know. You weren't neglecting anything because you didn't know. Then there's your category and your stats. It's one thing that I believe in having someone help you with uh, specifically, very specifically, and that's getting your book properly in the proper catalog so that Amazon knows exactly what your book is, because that appears on your buy page. And that's how you become, are you ready for this? An Amazon bestseller. And once you become an Amazon bestseller, you are ready for a heck of a lot of great marketing. You have 3 chances to become, well, actually, you've got 4. You've got the chance to become an overall Amazon bestseller across all of Amazon. Rachel Maddow's prequel made that. I don't think any of us have a full television station and television program to our credit that reaches across the nation, across the world. So it's very unlikely that will happen to us, but it could. It could. And then you've got these other categories that you signed up. So the Frugal Book Promoter is about book promotion. That's one of the categories. It's about book proposals. That's another one of the categories. It's about media lists. That's another could be another category. You have to choose what's most vital to your book, and you get 3 of them. And your book could hit number 1 in any one of those categories, or it could just hit, the top 10. When it hits the top 10, I take a screenshot, I circle it, and I put it up on all my social networks. So it's a great way to use Amazon to do the marketing for you.
Wow.
We're letting them work for us. And the other thing that we're going to do in order to get them to work better for us is all the things we've been talking about so far is one of the things that their logarithms look at. They're spying on us, let's face it, and they know what we're doing online. Every time you do anything on Amazon, if you review another person's book, if you click around and like something, the logarithms know that, and they know about your profile page, and the more you can do, the more the logarithms like you, and pretty soon you may never even know it, but Amazon starts sending out free ads for you directly into people's email boxes. I get them all the time. And here's one of the ways that I get them to do it. That profile page we were just talking about, there's a way to add a follow button. And when somebody who's read you or likes you or knows you and has gone to your profile page and they actually click on the follow, they will get those free ads in their mailbox when you release a new book. Amazon doesn't overdo it. They only do it when you release a new book. But if you've been working it, as an example, that website address that I was telling you about, the Carolyn's Amazon profile address, is in my signature in my emails. Did you ever notice it, PatZi?
I did. I
Yeah,
did. I was looking at you put a lot of things at the bottom of your emails.
yeah. I put all my social networks and things like that. That's doing a favor. You're not bragging, it's your life. Plus, you're doing a favor for anybody who wants more information on you. By being too humble, what are you doing? You're making them work. You're making them go to Google to find you. And only a small percentage who are really interested will do that. If somebody gets an email from me, they don't have to look very far to find what they want.
No, they don't.
Yeah. And I changed that out a lot too. I could do a poetry book for like this is Women's History Month. So I've been using a women's history chapbook in that signature. But generally speaking, it's my Frugal Book Promoter or my Frugal Editor or the Great First Impression Book Proposal, because most of what I do online is writing stuff and marketing stuff. So you're ready when you've got that profile, then you're sending people to it, maybe even asking them to follow you. And then lo and behold, they will hear from Amazon when you release a new book. All of those names, or most of those names, are people you don't even know have gone there. Amazon's very tight-lipped about their own customers. You can't find the names of all the people who have bought your book on Amazon. You could ask, you could plead, you could beg, and you're not going to get it from Amazon. One of the things that they will do for you, though, is advertise directly to them if they've been to your profile page and clicked on the follow button. The only way that you'll ever reach those particular readers and know exactly where they came from and what they're doing.
Carolyn, I don't think 10% of the authors understand how valuable that follow button is.
Oh yeah, every follow button that you see and click on is affecting your logarithm and whose ever follow button you clicked on, affecting theirs for them.
Wow.
You know, PatZi has. I met PatZi because of her radio program, and people with radio programs go on to do things on Amazon eventually too. She's proof of it. Should get you started on a little book, PatZi, even if it's just a little giveaway manual put on Amazon that would qualify you for having a profile page like that.
You're right, and I'm working on that in between everything else.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to give you the name of somebody who could help you find the best categories. You could do it yourself. Use your Google, find ways to do this. But the friend of mine who got me started on it, her name is DeniseCasino.com. And Penny at amarketingexpert.com also does that for authors. And because it's an isolated service, I'm not saying it's cheap, but wow, the value you get. And once they've done it for you and you're working with them one on one, then you know how to do it for your next book or how to adjust it for your present book yourself. It's a one time thing. You get the skill, and you're getting the lessons, and you're getting the service. So it's a great thing to spend some money on.
Okay, I will put that at the end of this broadcast.
Absolutely. And people can reach me at hojonews@aol.com and ask me questions that they skipped or didn't. You are taking notes, aren't you? One of the things I wanted to go through for you all while we're on this subject, because if we're going to be working on that buy page, we're going to be able to use links, and we should use as many as allowed. So the best way to use a link is to get a short link. And the best way to use a short link is to make sure that it's all in words instead of gibberish. So that last part of your short URL at tinyurl, which is still free, at bit.ly.com, which is no longer free, regardless of which one you choose, that part that's after that last slash is usually just gibberish. And one of my very big advisors thinks you should just leave it gibberish because they happen to also be tech experts. They think that's fine. But I'm a marketer, and people remember words, they don't remember gibberish. So that section after the slash, it'll say tinyurl.com/ and then the name of my book, or as close as I can get to it. Sometimes you have to shorten that a little bit. So it might be Frugal Book Promo. It might be Frugal Editor instead of the Frugal Editor, whatever is required. And it'll let you know if somebody else has already used those words. It's a marketing device. And when you see those in my signature or any place else or in my bio or whatever, I'm making it easy for people to remember, and I'm making it take up less room, and I'm making it easier for me to remember too, frankly. Do you use any of those shortened ones yet, PatZi?
Yeah, they're great.
And they're not really that hard, are they? You want that so that when people have followed your directions to get on your Amazon profile page, that then it'll be easy for them to follow anything else that you're doing. So those are the first things that you're going to tackle from the aspect of your buy page, other than reviews. I'm going to tell you one more time. We did that last time, and we'll be doing more because it's huge. And I have a new book coming out. Let me show you. This is the first edition. So when the second edition comes out, it'll look more like the FRUGAL Book Promoter on your screen. And it'll be under the auspices of Modern History Press. But look how fat it is. That's just how to get and use magical reviews. And Amazon is one of your primary places you want your reviews to go. So if you get a reviewer and they put your review up on their blog, but they don't put it on Amazon, ask them to put it on Amazon. And Amazon is getting fussier about that because they really want their reviews to be credible. That's really annoying. Really ticks me off. But it's for the good of us all. So you are going to send them over to Amazon, and if Amazon doesn't accept their review, then you're going to make suggestions for how they get it on. Amazon doesn't accept their review because they think that maybe they know each other or that they're related somehow, and therefore their review is biased. So they reject it. So then all that review needs is for them to resubmit it with a disclaimer on it that says they received a free book in exchange for a fair and honest review. and they usually let it through.
If the person who puts on a review lives at the same address as the author, they're checking it that closely?
Not only lives at the same address, they know the 5 or 6 people who write for one of the blogs that I write for called Writers. The idea is that they know everything. Oh, I was going to tell you they know all of those ladies and one gentleman who does those reviews. And the trouble I'm having with a frugal book promoter and some of my writing books is that they often just know that you're in the same trade or you're in the same profession, and so that they view that suspiciously. But who's going to read my books unless they're also in the same trade as I am?
I just celebrated the 9th anniversary of Joy on Paper. And when I first started, um, of course, people were asking me, will you put up a review? And I tried, and quickly my reviews were rejected. I cannot put up a review. People can put my blurbs, and a lot of people do that, but I can't do review. And some people got really like annoyed with me, like, oh well, you were so nice on the interview, and you really liked my book, and why can't you do a review? That's when I realized they're never going to take my reviews.
Yeah, yeah,
So, so on the buy page, we have the bio. Now we'll learn how to do it right and what to
right.
include.
And you're reviewing blurbs, and you're about the author. Those are all the things that your traditional publisher should be doing for you. But those are things that, as a self-published author, you can get them up yourself. I'm the self-publisher for all of my own poetry. I frequently go and update myself. Somebody hears about your book, but how are they supposed to judge your book other than by the reviews that are up there? And if you wait around for your readers to do it, your readers don't know they're supposed to. So here's a trick. When you send out a review copy or when you send out a book to a friend as a gift or whatever, you could, even when you're first publishing it, if you're a self-publisher, you could put this in the back matter in the back that just please review if you can. It's the best gift of all that you can give to an author, something like that. It's allowed.
That's
I,
allowed. It doesn't take very long, and if you like an author, you like their books, this is such a gift. They really appreciate when somebody puts a review on, because the number of reviews is important. So we'll do a whole entire program about the reviews, and we're going to talk about that. I want to get back to one thing. Now we're on the buy page, and that little description under the title.
they can be log lines. They can be called pitches.
So you have your log line, which should be in bold letters, and then underneath that, your description of your book. What's the ideal length for that? Because does Amazon decide
Short.
short?
Yeah, short because readers are in a hurry too. And think in terms of when you look at a movie poster or a big movie ad in your daily newspaper, or maybe one-page ad. They call them log lines in the movie industry. They go something like this. And they're written in with active verbs, and they're written with really um, with really a sense of forward motion. You don't want to give away the ending, so you say when such and such happened, then, and that would be like your plot point. That's when starts getting interesting. That's when the plot point happens. When you find the thing that really hooks you for the book. When that happens, then and then you end with it entices the protagonist or the name of your protagonist to do that 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 that. It works really well for all fiction. It has to be a little bit different, but almost the same still for nonfiction.
And
And that's only 2 lines.
yeah.
You keep it really short and active.
How many paragraphs after that? pithier, and more to the point.
Yeah, yeah. And that's true of everything you do online, even more than most generally. It becomes a knack, and you start seeing what's effective. Um, and the Frugal Book Promoter covers a lot of that, PatZi, and gives examples. And in the back of the appendix, there's actually sample query letters as an example. That takes us back to reviews. You get most of your reviews by writing query letters. So sample query letters, but every book is different. You can't just copy a template. You can use a template to give you an idea, but you can't just copy a template. You've got to tailor it and baby it and make it do what reflects your book. So I've selected, in every single book, I've selected a few sample query letters, and they're not going to match your book, but they're going to give you ideas on what to do.
But the writing of query letters and the writing of log lines, it is a talent. It's really stressful writing. One of the reasons I think your books are so good is that, unlike many people who are writing books about promoting books, they're authors themselves. They've gone through whatever they've gone through, but they haven't gone through real life experience like you and like me having businesses, because that's where you really learn marketing. When you have a business, you own a business, and you have employees who are depending on you. You have to be good at marketing, or you go out of business and everybody's unhappy. So you have real world experience, and so many of them don't think frugally. I mean, they don't think about the cost. They'll say, "Oh, get this, hire a publicist for $10,000." Well, what? This isn't easy, and this isn't the way that most people can go. So you have all of that business sense behind you.
I was a retailer. As a retailer, I know exactly how to approach a, a business to get them to let you come be a signer. You let them know what you can provide for them. Did I tell you that your contact list is your most valuable asset?
Well, we'll be talking about that too. Carolyn, thank you so much for joining us today. You are terrific, and all the information you give is so vital, really, to everybody. Thank you. And here it is, howtodoitfrugally.com with Carolyn Howard-Johnson. You've been a joy today. Thanks again.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. Bye.